then, so hi everyone, my name's Kerrion and welcome to our first question and answer session with our Communities for Work and Communities for Work Plus mentors. Today we're going to be going over a host of different topics, from how we're supporting people back into the work at the moment, what recruiters are looking for employees, and how we're supporting people with any wellbeing issues that they have. So we'll make a start by going through the mentors that we have with us today. So if you want to introduce yourself, guys.
Hi, I'm Rhiannon. I'm Employment Mentor for the East Cluster, covering areas such as Blackwood, Risca, Newbridge, Oakdale, quite a wide area.
And hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm Youth Mentor for the Communities for Work programme, and I work with 16 to 24-year-olds who are not in education, employment or training, and I cover the Upper Rumney Valley. So that's Rumney, Abertwysog, Focrw, New Tredegar, Pontlottin.
Hi guys, I'm Matthew. I'm the Parent Employment Advisor in Upper Rumney Valley as well, and I cover the same areas as Lindsay's just said, and I cover a wide variety of age ranges, so all different types of age ranges and all types of people.
And hi, I'm Deb. I'm an employment mentor for Communities for Work Plus programme, covering Caerphilly Basin. So anything from Abertredu, St Kenneth to Lansbury Park, Groegaracca, Llanbradach and everything else in between.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Right, so we'll jump into the questions, but if anything comes up that you'd like to find out more information about, or if you're confused about anything that we've mentioned, please get in contact with us. The contact details will be on this post. And feel free to get in contact via our social media pages. Right, so first question for you, Rhiannon. When you're referred to the project, what can somebody expect during their first meeting with their employment mentor?
Okay, this has slightly changed purely because of the current circumstances. We used to offer a face-to-face initial appointment at a venue, community venue of the individual's choice. However, we now are offering it via telephone conversation or video call, depending on the individual's preference. The call is more of a relaxed chat, just to get to know the individual, have a conversation, take a few details about what work they've done previously, what sort of skills and training they've had, and what they're looking to do as well moving forward. We have, like I said, it's a relaxed conversation to get to know the individual as well. We discuss sort of a plan of action going forward. So it's essentially, think of it as a way how we can help you get to where you want to be.
Awesome. Fab. Great. Thanks, Rhi. So Linz, after somebody's had their first meeting with their employment mentor, what can they expect after that? So what can the employment mentor do to help somebody?
Well, based on the initial conversation, by now, hopefully, we've got some sort of action plan together, things that the client or the participant has identified they need support with. So that can be anything from the tools that you need to look for work, so putting together a CV, helping someone know how to fill out an application form and maximise that application form to get the interview, helping people to prepare for an interview. It's all about mentoring and employment advice from us to help someone overcome their barriers. So it's about helping that person try and identify what their barriers are. And we've got something called a barriers fund as well. So say someone's barrier to work is that they don't have the necessary ID needed to start employment, or they're missing some sort of certificate that they need to start work. We can look to use our barriers fund to fund things like birth certificates or ID or some sort of ticket that they need to start work. Job search skills as well, so helping someone know where to look for work or sign up with agencies, sourcing training courses or work experience opportunities. If someone lacks any work experience, they feel that's their barrier to work. We've also got an employee liaison officer as well, and his role is to go out finding job opportunities, and he reports them back to us. Some employers are good enough to then ring fence those opportunities, particularly for our clients too. So we can put our clients forward for those opportunities, and altogether raising someone's confidence as well, because some people might come to us and they don't have the confidence to move into work. So we can be there just to talk, particularly in the current situation. A lot of people are at home and they are feeling very good, mind, body and soul is feeling quite down. So we can be there to talk to people if that's make them feel better and make them feel a bit more confident about moving into employment.
Wow, yeah, there's quite a lot, isn't there, that mentors can help people with, and obviously it depends on the person. It's very much a tailored support. You touched on barriers there and things that might prevent people going into work. So Matt, can you give an example of some of those situations that might prevent someone getting into work and how you support with this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in terms of different barriers, I mean, everybody's going to be different depending on their individual circumstances. But, you know, you're talking things like childcare might be a barrier. You know, people might have issues trying to find it, might have issues trying to fund it even. You know, there's instances where we can potentially help with funding for that. You know, we could potentially help with finding specific childminders for people in the local area. You know, finances might be a barrier to employment as well. You know, as Lindsay touched on, we do have a barriers fund available. So if anything was an issue in terms of finances, like say, you know, like Lindsay said, like ID, that's an example. Interview clause, you know, I think at some point we've all, you know, had to help somebody with potentially getting the right clause for work, things like that. And even mental health. And, you know, we've got different provisions available to help with all these different types of barriers that people have.
And yeah, like you say, it's very much tailored to the individual and what their needs are and perhaps what they'd like to go into as a job. So certain jobs require certain training, and for a lot of people getting support with going into work, training is a part of that. So Deb, how are we supporting people with training at the moment?
The training aspect of it are looking quite different at the moment because we're so used to face-to-face and classroom environment, which obviously the pandemic has now put a close on all of that, not enabling us to complete training in that way. Obviously, things are needed to be rethought about how training can now take place. And I think over the last few months, training providers have actually been working out opportunities that these can still go ahead. And one of the main things is by doing online courses now. So there's a lot of organisations out there, Adult Learning Wales, who are doing non-accredited training online, which obviously we can give more information on, but sort of like more of awareness rather than accredited food hygiene, first aid, health and safety. There's also a skills toolkit, which offers free-line training courses. So things are starting to move at the moment, more of the specialist areas. And I know construction, we're sort of like talking with training providers who are now hoping that once it's eased with the restrictions and that we have at the moment, that we can get back to doing more of the construction. But they're looking at doing Zoom online training with a tutor present, and people can log in on these. But I think they're looking a little bit longer before we can actually get these test centres back open, up and running. So it's looking positive. I know I had one participant last week who did finish his digger training. So it's all dependent on the training company and what provisions they've got in place that actually social distancing can be adhered to, and they're following the guidelines that we have to at the moment. So things are looking positive.
Yeah, things are definitely changing, and you've obviously said there about how things are moving in a positive direction, but during over the last couple of weeks we've all had to adapt the way that we're working, and that leads on to the question for you, Linz, about how we're supporting people under the current circumstances. So yeah, how's your role had to adapt and change with everything going on?
Well, it was really important for us that we tried to make sure that the same support is available during the pandemic as it was before. So what we've been doing is maximising IT and digital technologies to support our participants, such as telephone calls, texts, emails, WhatsApp, Zoom. Personally, I've been emailing job opportunities to people and resources on how to conduct an interview, holding Zoom mock interviews with people as well. Personality tests can be done online. So if someone isn't sure about their skills, they can be doing personality tests, and I'll bring up all sorts of things that your likes and your dislikes and what you're good at. Identifying training needs and barriers to employment as well. We are, like Deb said, you know, we're still trying to make use of the training resources that are available at the moment. Although they might not be as they were before. And a phone call to someone for a chat can just help as well, like I said earlier, during these difficult times. So whereas before that would be done face to face, those conversations can still happen, but over the phone or digital technologies. I know that our fantastic engagement team, including yourself, Kerry-Ann, have been going out as well and asking people how they would like to be supported moving forward. And I know that the team have put together this fantastic report on the feedback we've been given. And we're going to now look to adapt the way we work in line with the feedback that we've had, because it's really important that if we're going to continue to support people, eventually it will be done face to face. And it's important for our clients to feel safe and feel comfortable doing that as well. So yeah, there's some fantastic work being done by our brilliant engagement team for that as well.
Thanks, Linz. That's fantastic. Thank you. You've obviously touched on some really important stuff there, where people at the moment do need to talk, and there's a lot going on to sort of remind ourselves of making sure our well-being is in a good state. And with that in mind, and obviously us being reminded to look after our well-being, particularly at the moment, how are you supporting people with this, Ree? So how are you supporting the people that you're working with to sort of ensure that their well-being is kept in a good place?
Well, as you just mentioned, it's an incredibly difficult time at the moment for everyone, especially with the current job circumstances. As Linz mentioned earlier, just having a chat with somebody. So even though we're here for employment support, sometimes it's nice. We're not seeing many people at the moment. So just having a chat with somebody that, is somebody outside your household, may make that massive difference. We've got lots of links with partner organisations as well who can provide specialist mental health support. We also have our in-house team engagement officers, participation officers, who, for those who may be feeling anxious and concerned at the moment about going back into work, they're not quite ready yet to sort of take that step. We've got Kerry-Ann and Craig, who are there to help support those individuals until they are ready to get into work. So individuals aren't necessarily forced, we're not going to force anybody out of their comfort zone. It's just working with people just to help them make them feel more comfortable. I mean, it's a strange time at the moment and nobody knows really where we're going to go from here. All we can do is just look out for each other really and help support in that way.
Absolutely. And that's such a nice sentiment, isn't it? It's just looking out for each other and definitely checking in and making use of all the sources of support that are out there that our team does have access to. If anybody needs it, they are there to support you. So obviously things, as we've said, are moving in a positive direction. And with that in mind, there are a lot of employers that are recruiting right now. So a question for yourself, Deb, is what sectors do you find are currently recruiting the most at the moment?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I think obviously when we went into lockdown that a lot of businesses closed up. But I think there's the priority areas that were sort of like really looking to recruit before the pandemic, but even more so now is obviously your care and your support work. That, when you look online, you see them quite regular right across the authority that they're looking for. So that's one area that is sort of thriving at the moment and before all of this. But things like hospitality is now starting to take off, obviously with the possible lifting and your pubs, restaurants and that potentially opening in the next few weeks. I have seen that some companies are looking at the moment in preparation for one of them, apart from sort of like serving staff and that, but a lot of cleaning, because we're needing to do a lot more cleaning and the hygiene around establishments these days. So they're having to take on extra staff to cover this and make sure that everyone who visits the establishments are actually in a safe environment. Retail. I know it's been a little bit up and down with retail, where we had a spur at the beginning of it, tailoring off. But I think with more non-essential shops now reopening, we're seeing a little bit more of recruitment, not so much online, but it's worthwhile individuals keeping an eye in their local area to see if people are advertising through the shop windows. And another area, obviously with the track and trace, we're finding that there's a lot of admin, reception and call centre staff needed. Now, obviously we're all looking in those establishments because not only we're track and trace, people are either working from home, so they're needing those customer service placements to be filled as soon as possible to help the businesses. So there's quite a bit out there, as well as obviously the impact on construction. So this is starting to move a bit now, and we're seeing a lot more people advertising to get the construction site back up and running. So there's quite a variety out there that, you know, if people are skilled or not, or were looking to actually go into those areas of work, then yes, we could possibly look at helping individuals to secure employment in those areas.
Right. Yeah, so there's a lot of different sectors that are recruiting. Like you said, it is fluctuating, but it's the sort of thing that will keep changing, and obviously our mentors will keep on what's out there. And if you're working with the programme, then you can get access to a lot of that insight that we have. Yeah. So our last question for you, Matt, is what tips would you offer someone searching for work at the moment?
There's quite a few. I mean, the best thing anybody can do at the moment, I mean, you know, we're all stuck in, so online pretty much is the only way forward at the moment. But there's so many different websites that you can use for your job searching. I mean, I think everybody's heard of Indeed at this point, Indeed.co.uk. You know, one of the best job sites out there. They have some really up-to-date vacancies. But, you know, it's not even just that. All the different types of job websites, like your Indeed, like your Read.co.uk, they all have something different to offer. Like Read, for example, has like a CV creator on the website. So in addition to just looking for jobs, if you want to, you know, make your own CV and, you know, update the CV, you can do that on the website. So there's that site as well. There's the Job Centre's one, Find a Job, which has some up-to-date vacancies as well. Not only that, but there's your social media. You know, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. There's so many different types of sort of sites and different communication tools you can use to find work. But as long as, you know, you keep an eye on things like social media and online, you'll be able to find up-to-date vacancies. You can also use things like Google as well. I mean, you know, you could literally just type in, as an example, jobs in Philly, jobs in Cardiff, Merthyr, what have you. And a lot of the times, some jobs will come up straight away. And yeah, so like I said, there's loads of different ways that you can find jobs online.
Well, cool. Great. Well, I hope that everybody who's watching has found today's question and answer session useful. Thank you to the mentors who've come along today and had the quick fire questions aimed at them. So thank you for answering those. If anybody wants more information of anything that's been mentioned or would like to find out more about signing up for the project and sort of getting involved in having that employment support, then get in touch with us via social media or on the contact details that will be added to this post. Thank you all. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.